So I brought out the solo cups, and it kind of brought me back to college days. You know, when the solo cups came out, you know what time of day it was, but I have them out for a different reason. So about a month ago, I sliced some tomatoes that I had in my refrigerator, and I covered them with a light amount of soil, and this is the growth after a month. So I have my little seedlings here, and I have a third container, and I think this is cerasee that's growing in here. It smells like it. So anyway, it's time to get these seedlings into their own pots. So that's where my solo cups come in. So for these, I have already added holes to the bottom because your plants don't like to sit in water. So the holes allow the water to go through, so the plant isn't sitting in water. So I'm going to show you the steps. So those are already done. Based on the amount of seedlings I have, I think I'm going to need a few more cups. I'll get to that off camera. So in order to get the holes on the bottom of the cup, I start by just poking holes from the inside, because I found if you start working from the outside, it splits the cup, and that's no good. So I poke the holes on the inside, then I flip it over, and it makes it so much easier. If you do it in the exact spot. Alright, there you go. The holes are in. So I'm going to do that times in another maybe 10 cups, and I'll be back. So now I have the holes in the bottom of all my cups. It's time to work on my soil. So here's the before, the transplant of my tomato seedlings, and I'm going to take them outside so that way we can work with getting them in the cups. I'm using Miracle-Gro garden soil for vegetables and herbs, and because I have a lot of tomato seedlings, I have a 3-gallon pot, and I'm going to prepare all of my soil all at once because it makes it easier, because I'm working with a lot of seedlings for this. Look, there's something growing in there. continue mixing a little bit of topsoil with my garden soil until this is full. Okay, so I have my pot filled with about 3/4 way of soil, and I need to get this a little bit moist. Not too wet, but just moist. And I took my gloves off because it's easier to work with. So I try to work the water into the soil. You don't want your soil to be super dry. And it rained yesterday, so the soil got some water. So I don't have to add too much to this. Now the next step is to try to get these separated. Alright, so I've never done this before. And I'm gonna try. I hope it's not too moist. I want to keep the roots intact. I don't know if you can see this, but these tiny little hair-like structures on the plant, on the seedling, those are going to be roots. Once I have this planted in my pot and in the ground, they're going to take roots. It's pretty cool. So that'll give it nice structure once it's planted. So I'm going to try to take them out because there are a few in here and I need to repot them. I need a bigger container. Okay, so I found a larger pot that'll make it easier for me to place them in here. I've been gardening for a little over 10 years now, so the beauty about that is that I have all these fancy pots just laying around my house, which is great for times like these. So I'm going to loosen this up just a little. Just needed a bigger container, so once I have this loosened up, it's getting easier. I can place it in here temporarily, so that way I won't disturb the roots too much as I try to separate them, because there are a lot of seedlings growing in this one little container that stemmed from one slice of tomato. So I think I loosened it enough. Oh yes, look at all the roots. This is great. See the root system on this? Now my fear is that I will put it in this bigger pot and I'm going to ruin the root system somehow. So I might be able to pull them apart just like this. So what I think I'm going to edit what I'm going to do. I'm going to place some soil in a couple of the cups just to get them ready, about halfway. And again, these are the solo cups that has the hole in there. So I'm going to place soil halfway in each cup. So as I pull them apart, pull the seedlings apart, I can start planting them right away. So you guys are on this journey with me. Just about halfway, not too much. Trying to get the big chunks of wood out of there so there's nothing to interfere with the roots because they are still young. good. All right, so I'm gonna fill the rest of the cups and I'll be right back. Okay, so now my cups are half filled and I got rid of all the debris inside. I figured I will take you along for the good and the bad as I try this. So I'm going to break it apart just a little. This one seems to be one of the sturdiest. You can see it's tall and the stem is a little bit thicker than all the others. So I'm going to gently pull it apart. Oh, it has a good root system on this one. Place that in here. Now I am going to take these lower leaves. I'm going to pinch them off as close to the stem as possible. And then I'm going to add soil, including some of the existing soil. Placing this in the middle. Fill it with soil to the top. Push that in just a little bit before I add some more soil to the top. And there is our first seedling that is transported to its own container. I'm going to gently just push the soil down a little bit to pack it in, keeping that in the middle. Now I'm going to leave that right there, and I'm going to work on the rest. So let's take this up and try to find another one that I think will survive. I like this one. I hope they all survive. Let's go around here to get to it. Okay, that'll loosen the dirt just a little bit more. They were really growing in here for the past month that they were in this container. Trying just to loosen the dirt around it so I don't ruin the existing root system that's on this plant. That one's a little hard. Ooh, it's really attached. I think I'm getting it, and try not to pull it too much. There we go. So I want to keep as much as the root. Awesome. Alright. So I'm going to place that in the middle. Take this little one off. That probably won't survive. And again, I'm going to pinch these leaves. The lower leaves off and give it more of a chance. Place that in the middle. Add in some of the soil that it was growing in the cup around it. And again, moistened soil. Just all around it. Good thing about doing this outside is that I can get messy. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up, transplant the others, and I will be back. So I have 6 seedlings that are already transplanted. These are the ones that had the bigger stem, the better root system, larger leaves, and I think they have the better chance of survival. So there were about 30 seedlings that I got from that one slice of tomato. So what I did, I have them laid out here. I went through and found the really tiny pieces. You can see how small that is. Don't mind my fingers, y'all. I'm playing in dirt today. But I found the really small ones that didn't look like they had much of a chance to survive. The root system weren't as developed as the others, and they didn't have much leaves on there either after a month. So I kind of laid those to the side. Those had to be sacrificed. So now what I'm left with, I am left with at least 12 seedlings that have a shot of survival. So what I'm trying to do now is to find the ones that have a really good root system. The stem seems to be nice and sturdy, and the leaves aren't badly damaged from the slugs that were eating at them. So I'm going to go through here and try to find the ones I think will make it with more time. And I've also gone ahead and gotten smaller styrofoam cups because they're so tiny. They don't require a lot of soil. I want the roots to get developed while they're in their own individual container. So I poked some holes in these styrofoam cups, and I have 2 done so far. So I have more that I'm going to work through, and I'm going to try to get all of these transplanted today. And then I will have to watch these a little bit more carefully to see the ones that will survive in the next month. So I want to show you that poking the hole in these styrofoam containers are much easier than in your solo cups, because all you have to do with your pointy tool is just to poke a hole. I like to do 5 holes, and it's so much easier. And then you're done. So I happen to find these styrofoam cups in my teacher supplies. So I just finished my 14th year of teaching, and I have tons of teaching supplies over the past couple of years. So I don't really have to go out to the store to try to find anything. So I just found some cups that I had laying around. I have a pack of holiday cups I have for every season. So now I'm going to add some soil to this and pick through, removing all the leaves that I think won't make it, and I'm going to transplant these, and I'll be right back. So now I am down to the last 3. I transplanted the ones that had the larger stem, larger leaves, and they looked overall just healthy enough to survive the transplant, because this has to be worth it, right? And then as I got down to the last 7 or 8, I didn't like having to play God between the ones I thought would survive and the ones that wouldn't. So I know they're going through a lot right now, the shock of having their root system changing like that so quickly and not being in their homes. So I decided, y'all, that I am going to give them all a fighting chance. So I felt like it wasn't really up to me to decide whether or not I thought they would survive. And I'm actually rooting for them to survive. I like rooting for the underdog. So I have successfully transplanted all except the ones I know for a fact wouldn't make it. And then these that kind of was like, I'm not sure, I decided to gently, probably doesn't look like it, but I am gently supporting their stem. And because they're so tiny, I decided to put 2 and 3. This is the last 3, so I put 3 in this one. So they are all transplanted. These are the underdogs, yo. Compared to that one, you can see the difference. So, like I said before, to give them a fair shot, I planted them anyway. So now that we are done with that, I did run into a caterpillar that was having breakfast. I had to get rid of him. So now that we're done with that, the next step is for me to give them a little bit of water and try not to move them around too much with the amount of water that I put in. So I'm going to poke holes in the top of the cap of a water bottle, and that will help me to direct the water around the soil and not necessarily on the plant, so that way they can get watered. So I'm just going to tap the soil around the stems just to make sure that they're fully supported in there, because the water will loosen the soil once it's in the container. So I want to make sure that they are secure in here, just around the stems. And that came from just one, this smaller container with just one slice of tomatoes. I have all of these seedlings from one slice of tomatoes. And that took me the better part of, I'm gonna say, 2 hours. Now, this is the second plant and this is the third. This seems to have a lot of healthier seedlings in here. So I'm gonna carve out some more time tomorrow and I will get more cups so that way I can transplant these. So I'm gonna put those off to the side for now. I'll make sure that they get watered. And that really smells like cerasee. It probably is. Anyway, so I'm gonna get the next step for this, which is to get them watered, and then I will lay them out so that way they can get some sun in another couple of hours. I have a special spot on my patio that I know by the time another 3 hours or so, when they've gotten a chance to recover a bit, they can get maybe an hour direct sunlight before I place them out of the direct sun, so that way they can have a chance to just revive themselves after the shock. Okay, so before we water the top, I got a couple of trays that I had laying around from the Dollar Tree. These are awesome from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do, because there are so many of these, they have the holes at the bottom, right? And you can see these have started to revive already. This one, I think I planted it too close. There we go. Scoot it over just a little bit. All right, there you have it. Okay, so because there are so many, I like to place them on their own trays. Actually, let me put the ones that I think have a better shot of surviving on. Put those on the outside. And then, because I'm going to bottom water, and I'll tell you what that is in just a little bit, I'm going to place the others in the middle, and this will also protect them from too much direct sun. one's a bigger one, a little healthier. And it just, oh, there's one that won't fit, but I have another tray that I have my cabbages and my callaloo on, so I will add that one to that tray. So bottom watering, because I made 5 holes in the bottom of the containers, I'm just going to place the water. I'm going to pour the water in the tray. And this will allow the plant to take the water that it needs. I don't know if you can see that, but I have my little watering container, which is pink, my favorite color. And I'm just pouring water in. So that's bottom watering. It will take the water that it needs, and I will also go ahead with the water bottle in just a few minutes and just water from the top. All right, y'all. So my seedlings have been transplanted. So I'm gonna find a spot over there for them. So that they can get some sun in just a little bit. Okay, so they are in place in the garden. As you can see, the sun is a couple of hours away from getting to them. So I have placed water in the bottom of the tray. And then I have some holes at the top of the water bottle. So I can get some water into them. And then we'll give it some time to recover from the shock of having their root system interrupted. And that is all from one slice of a tomato.